What is up, guys? In today's episode of Will It Drift, we're going to be looking at something a little bit different today. So, as we saw in the last episode, this vehicle here, the trophy truck, my favorite trophy truck, it's a rear-wheel drive beast with a ton of horsepower, and as we saw, it will in fact drift. So today, we're going to take a look at something that's pretty much the complete opposite of this. Right here. Small, lightweight, not very much horsepower, which it's probably going to stay that way because I don't think we can upgrade it much, and it's a front-wheel drive. I know everything else I've done so far has been rear-wheel drive. Even if it was all-wheel, I would then convert it to rear-wheel. But this, I think, is going to be a fun challenge of front-wheel. I messed with front-wheel drive a little bit in Horizon 4, and it was weird, to say the least. So we are going to give this a shot and see how it goes. Alrighty, so here we are with the upgrades, and let me show you what I've done so far. It's weird, so hear me out. First off, with the engine swap, we are going to go with the Turbo Rally, which if you max it out compared to this other motor here, it actually has slightly less horsepower than this one does. However, the Turbo Rally has more torque, and I will explain in a little bit why that is important. Obviously, the challenge here is leaving it front-wheel drive, so nothing there. The aero, pretty much, apparently this is a very rally-focused car. These are all kind of rally-looking upgrades. Here is either the bumper, grill, whatever, or the little wing for downforce. And we are actually going to want as much grip up front as we can, so I actually did go with that. Engine 100% maxed out. In the handling, brakes maxed out. Suspension, I have drift suspension on. Upgraded all these. Did not put the roll cage on for weights. Did put that on. Transmission, one thing that's weird here is that this thing does have a drift suspension, but there is no drift diff, which is kind of weird. And unfortunately, I don't actually know the difference between the off-road, rally, and race diffs. I have absolutely no idea what the difference is. Maybe it's just a different preset for kind of in the tuning menu. Like one of them's at 88%, one of them's at 100, one of them's at something else. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, but I do know that you can lock up a race diff, so which I'm actually not going to do. But anyway, I think that the race diff is, I know is going to be fairly usable, so went ahead and went with that. Alrighty, now where things get weird is in the tires. So, with front wheel drifting, okay, let me start with rear wheel. With rear wheel drifting, the front wheels don't matter all that much, but the rear, you want to have enough grip to accelerate forward, but not so much grip that you can't get your tires to spin. It's an awkward balance that you have to find. With front wheel drifting, you want as little grip in the rear as you possibly can. No ifs, ands, or buts. As little as you can. The front tires, you want as much grip as you can. No qualifying statement there either. It is as much grip as you can get. So, starting out the rear wheels, made the wheels as big as they could. That adds a little bit of weight, but it's going to help with getting rid of some of that extra grip. Left the front normal. Got my lightweight wheels on. Rear tires, I kept them narrow, obviously. Trying to get as small of a contact patch as I can. The fronts, I maxed out. Still not super wide, but I got them as wide as I'll go. Now for the tire compound. So normally when I know I want as much grip as I can, I will go with the drift tire compound because they have a lot of grip while they are spinning. However, since I'm putting the power down through the front, which I do not want to spin, I went with the semi-slick tire compound. The slick racing compound has a little bit more grip, which is what I'm going to want in the front. However, if I do start to break loose, it seems like slick racing tires, they're just gone. Once you start to spin, it's all gone. The semi-slicks, I'm not going to have quite as much grip, but if I start to spin, which I probably will at some point, I still have a fair amount of grip. But because they are racing tires after all, when I lock up the rear tires and drag the ass of the car around, I'm still going to be able to break loose pretty well. Drift tires, I don't want grip in the rear when the rear is sliding around, so I actually do not want drift tire. The best way to get rid of all grip in the rear is, where are they at? Is the drag tire. Will completely eliminate grip in the rear and will give me a ton of grip in the front. However, I'm worried that it's going to be kind of like the slick racing compound where I'm just going to lose all my grip when I start to spin. So I may have to play around with this. I don't know for sure what I want, what the right balance is going to be, but I think this is going to be good all around. I'm going to start here and see how things go. Alrighty, we are at the top of the mountain now. I've messed with my tuning a bit, and I must say I am not confident. I don't know that this is going to be the best tune, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Front wheel drive tuning is very weird, so let me go through it and show you what I got here. So like I said, you want as much grip to the front as you can and as little to the rear. So drop the tire pressure all the way down up front, all the way up in the rear. Gearing, I pushed it out very far. I don't want to have too much torque or too much acceleration, whatever. I don't want to burn my tires off. So I specifically pushed it out to speed to try and keep from having too much torque, too much power, and just burning my front tires off. I want to maintain grip as best I can. Alignments, I am zeroed out in the front, trying to keep the tires flat for grip. The rear, I went full positive, which gives you very little grip, essentially. I could have gone negative, but it feels like positive. It wants to bounce around a little bit more, and it just seems, I don't know. It just seems like that's more what I want. A little bit of toe, although it shouldn't matter too much because those tires are going to be locked up. And the front caster all the way down because I do not want the camber changing as I steer. I want it to stay flat throughout the entire turn. Any roll bars, stiffened up the rear, left the front alone. I don't think this is going to matter a whole lot because it's a pretty stiff suspension to begin with. Springs, basically the exact opposite of what I normally do. I have it leaning all the way forward and super stiff in the rear, basically trying to keep the rear end up, make sure that it's pushing forward as much as it can all the time. Damping, same deal. Just try to keep it from rocking back anymore. I don't know that the front's going to make a huge difference, but there's that. No aero, no brakes. Differential, like I was saying, I'm not really sure what exactly is meant by the race versus rally versus off-road diffs. This one was at 13% when I first got into it, I guess. That's too low. I don't want one wheel peel going on, so I cranked it up a ways. I don't want it locked up because when you're at 100%, that actually makes you break loose really easy when you're turning. So I turned it up quite a bit, but not all the way. Deceleration doesn't really matter. Right, here we go with our first run. One thing I'm going to say right away is that it is super weird. Obviously, there's a lot of throttle control involved, trying to not burn the front tires off. If you start to break loose, you just go in a straight line. You can't steer anymore because front tires are how you steer, and if they're spinning, you lose all your grip. You can't steer anymore. And also, when you're drifting, like mid-drift, you lock up the rear tires. And so you're holding the e-brake throughout the drift. And then you let them hook up a little bit, and you use that to help you transfer from side to side. So the e-brake timing is exactly the opposite of normal. Normally you use your e-brake, kind of tap it when you let off throttle and use that to transition. Now it's actually how you maintain your drift. So it's very backwards, very weird. So in my little bit of testing, I think the car is absolutely capable. It's just whether or not I am capable. So this will be a good test of the driver here. So let's see what happens. Oh man. I'm just cooking the tires off in third. I have to try and keep it pretty high here. Oh man, this is rough. Those long drifts are definitely easier than the quick transfers of the short drifts because my brain just can't think quick enough in the sharp turns. Well, I think it's safe to say we missed the mark. Wow, that was bad. I'm considering the drag tires, but I want to give it one more shot. There's definitely a lot of driver error in that. So, anyway, go try it again. Alrighty, here we go with the drag tires. Other than that, I didn't make any changes to suspension or anything, so let's see what happens. And I'm drifting all four tires. I'm having a hard time keeping the front locked up. And yeah, this is not working. I was definitely right about the front breaking loose the moment it starts to turn. I could tell the rear end wants to sit up more, which is good, but as soon as those fronts start to break loose, it's gone. I think I may actually go the other direction and try those the racing slicks. Hopefully those will hook up a little bit better than I thought they would originally. Alright, here we go. Attempt number 1 with the racing slicks. Ha! Pretty much the exact same score as I had with the semi-slicks. Alright, let's go again. Alrighty, so I just realized that I am in fact retarded, and after going to the racing slicks, I did not change my pressures. So, front all the way down, rear all the way up. Alrighty. This is still going to be horrible, but maybe that'll make a difference. That was a pretty good little switchback section there. Man, basically the same score. The frustrating thing is, it's clearly possible to hit $1 million with this car. And it's just frustrating that it's such a horrible run after a horrible run. And it really is just 100% my fault that I am not hitting the 1 million. It's like I'm so close yet so far, and it's 100% because I just suck with this car. Definitely something frustrating. But I know it is possible, so I will stick to it, and eventually I will get it. Definitely the best run so far by quite a ways, actually. Now I just gotta keep that up. Oh yeah. There we go. That was like a 35k PR almost, with really no change of the car, just a little bit of extra focus, and boom, got it. That was surprisingly difficult. I honestly thought this would be pretty easy. It's definitely a different skill, but I don't know, it's just weird. Front wheel drive is weird. If you can do it, congrats. It's definitely not something I want to do ever again. But yes, the front wheel drive Renault Clio will in fact drift. 1 million.